What's up, guys? This is the Redstone Scientist, and today I'm going to show you how the word processor works. But you might be asking yourself, oh, hold on just a second. You might be asking yourself, what in the world is this? This is not the super compact word processor. What am I looking at here? This enormous tower of command blocks. Well, what you are looking at, dear viewer, is version 1 of my word processor. Originally, it was not meant to be a very compact thing. I just wanted to see if I could do it on my own without any outside help. And I could with command blocks, but it was quite unwieldy. So let me walk you through a little bit of what I have here, and maybe it'll help you understand a little bit better about the next word processor. Here I have a looping signal shifter. Originally I had a different one, but this one supports going different directions, so I can do a backspace. So that's pretty good. So this is a looping signal shifter. Now, we'll go into the command blocks later. I'll just show you what everything is. This over here detects what letter you have pressed. Oh, I'm sorry. This letter over here detects what letter you have pressed in which slot. And then these... That summons a redstone block in the appropriate quartz line, which, like, this would be a quartz line, so it would summon one right here, to fire off command blocks to actually summon the redstone blocks to make the letter. It's very, very complicated. And so I actually had to make these little things here in order to load the chunks up. I had a whole debugging menu and everything. It was so unreliable. So, let me show you. So right now the third slot is selected. So that means that this pushes out. So here I have scoreboard player set S3-1. S3 means this is slot 3. So that means that the entire machine knows that we are on slot 3 right now. And by pushing that redstone block out, we activate this clock. Now this clock is constantly checking if you have pressed A, if you've pressed B, and so forth. Now it doesn't know yet what... Now it's just so, like, let's say I press A. That means that this command block will activate. If we were on slot 2 and I pressed A, a different command block would activate. In other words, only this row is testing for letters. That means that no matter what, it will be in slot 3, so we don't have to worry about that. That's how it knows where to put the letter. And then it summons the redstone block up there. And that is set specifically. I don't think I explained that very well, but it'll make more sense when we get to the compact one. There's a lot of other stuff over here for debugging. This is the cursor. This is clearing the screen first. This is various... I don't even know what this is anymore. This is clearing each letter still. Lots of other functions. Some of this stuff is in charge of a waiting light. I had a waiting light here. Anyway, the whole thing was just a really big mess. And it was still pretty fast, but let me show you. It's a little bit slower than the other one, and also the cursor takes longer. And it's much uglier. So then I realized about halfway through, you can see I didn't finish this. Let me show you what's in these command blocks, first of all. These all are set block commands to place the redstone blocks behind there. Now, what you may not know is that... I'm sorry. About halfway through, I realized that, oh my gosh, I just saw this video. Sorry, I don't remember what the video is, but I just saw this video where somebody used a filter to make one command block that summoned minecart command blocks above that command block, and those minecart command blocks summoned multiple blocks. Now, I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'll go into that more later. But anyway, there is a filter, and I will have a link to that filter in the description below. That is by Cube Coded, I believe is his name. His or her, I'm sorry. And so I realized, wow, I could condense every single one of these rows into one command block. That's when I realized I had to make something more compact. So I started from scratch with the word processor compact. Here it is. Alright, so I started with this. Now, I would remove all this wool, but I don't really want to go through all that. So, this is going to be pretty complicated, and hopefully you'll understand it. Let's get right into it. So, let's go through first how one letter works. All right, so this is A right here. Now, under the keyboard here, there's a command block, and it sets the scoreboard A1. I have a scoreboard objective for every letter. Okay, so now we know that A is 1. Now we're going to go over into the main processor over here. Now this really fast clock, this is just a glitch right there, this really fast clock is constantly powering this redstone line right here. And this redstone line is powering all these command blocks, and all these command blocks are doing a test for every one of the letters a minimum score of 1. So these are all testing to see if you pushed a letter. So in our case, A, which is this one, A, say test for at P, score A min 1. Okay, this comparator is going to activate, which is then going to activate this command block. Now this command block is rather long, and I will show you right here. I have it pulled up. We're going to find A, and one moment. Oh, I could just do this. Right here. So, this is the command in that command block, right here. Now let's go over a little bit about what this does. So, let me enlarge the text for you. So here's what it's doing. It's summoning a minecart command block one block above the command block. Now that minecart command block is riding a minecart command block, which is riding a minecart command block, which is riding a minecart command block, and so forth. The slimes are just there to separate them. You don't really need to worry about the slimes. Just know that there are a lot of minecart command blocks riding each other. Okay. Now the final minecart command block is riding a falling sand entity with a tile ID of 157. Now 157 is an activator rail with a time of 1. So in other words, all of these command block minecarts are going to be falling onto an activated activator rail. So all of them are going to be activated at the same time. Okay. The next part of the command is actually the commands within each of the minecart command blocks. So each of these is another set block command. And that's for each of the blocks that make up the letter. And that's about it. I hope I explained that well. You can comment below if that didn't make much sense. But now you may ask, well, that's just for one slot. How does it know to do the next one? Well, I'm glad you asked. One of the other, in addition to setting to the set block for all the parts of the letter, it sets one more block, and it sets a block right. It sets a block right here, where I'm standing. And what this does is, first of all, it removes the redstone block, and then it adds one to the slot objective. And the slot objective is what keeps track of what slot you're in right now. Now, these in the middle right here, this clock, is testing for the slot objective. So right now, we're in the second slot. So this comparator is active. And what this does is this sets a redstone block in the slot 2 activation slot, which is what I call it. It's kind of confusing. And slot 2, I wrote it with signs, is right over here. So it places a redstone block. Just a second. It's kind of hard to get through all of this. Places a redstone block right here. Now what that does is this activates all of these command blocks. And what these command blocks do are also commands within commands, just like the one I showed you over here. I know this is getting very complicated. Hopefully I'm explaining this that you can understand. So this one, in particular, I misspelled space, but this one is space A, B, and C, and it's for slot 2. So what this is doing is this is replacing this command block, and this command block. which are the A, B, and C summoners, replacing them with a different command block which has the coordinates for the second slot. So in other words, this command block right here says, okay, I'm going to place A in slot 1. And then this one replaces it with something else that says, okay, I'm going to place A in slot 2. And that's how it works for each of these. So after the space ABC, each one is in charge of placing down 3 blocks. So these are also the minecart command block things. So it's in charge of placing down 3 blocks. And those 3 blocks are all in here. I'm sorry, I'm really not explaining this well, but I'm doing the best I can. So that's how it works. Each block is replaced every time the next slot happens. So in other words, the actual circuit itself is being changed. Then what happens is, well, actually, that's about it for how the slot selecting works and the actual letters. Now, how does the cursor work? Well, this line here that I kind of smudged in here is, oh, by the way, the reason why the letters don't overlap each other is because part of the set block commands are also that it's summoning air in right here, so that it clears out what was there before. But anyway, this line right here is in charge of the cursors. Once again, there are minecart command blocks being summoned on riding each other that do a set block for the cursor. And it works the same way as the letters do. So it's actually pretty simple. I hope I explained that pretty well. Now I'm actually going to show you what I did. I'm going to show you the process of going through creating one of the letters. First of all, I'm going to show you, this is a page with all of the code on it. It is a lot of code. A lot of code. Now, I used a filter, so I didn't write it all. Now, let me show you what I do. So, first, let's clear it first. Okay, let's say I want to make a B. Or let's say a C, that's easier. So, first, I would build what the C is going to look like behind it. Behind the first slot. Okay, good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take stone and fill in all the air blocks with stone. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to do a find and replace function for any stone IDs and replace it with air. That's how I get rid of the previous letter. Alright, there we go. We have our C. Now let's make sure that worked. Alright, perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hop over. So here we are in MC Edit, and this is our C that we made right here. So we're going to select this, and we're going to clone it into each one. So I just happen to know that there's 7 apart. So we're going to clone it 4 times. Hopefully you're familiar with MC Edit. I'm sorry, this is my first time really explaining stuff on a video. I'm going to get better with this as I go along. Now we're going to push clone. And there we go. They're all cloned. Now normally I have a block, another block above here, and above here, and above here, and above here, because I replaced the coordinates of that block with the coordinate for setting the next slot. I hope that made sense. I replaced the coordinates of the extra block with the coordinates for the redstone block that advances it to the next slot. It's kind of a mouthful. Now what I would do is I would select the first slot, and then I'm gonna do filter. We're gonna go down to my favorite filter in the world, structure to command version 2.0. We can do replace, absolute coordinates, and we're gonna offset it by 10, so it's gonna appear right here. We're gonna ignore entities, just in case. Now we push filter, and it appears right there. Now first, we're going to do that for each of the other ones too. So we're going to nudge the selection 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and hit filter again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and hit filter again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Hit filter again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hit filter again. Now we've got them all set, but they're still going to summon stone. Now, actually, in retrospect, I didn't really need to do this, but it just makes it prettier. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select all the command blocks that it summoned, and we're going to use another filter, which is find and replace. Now we're going to go to another document I have, actually, which is the conversion. Now this right here, these are the coordinates of those extra blocks I told you about. And this is the coordinate of the redstone block that advances it to the next slot. We're not going to worry about that, though. Actually, we'll get to this later. Right now, we're going to replace 1, 0, curly bracket, which that means every instance where it says place a stone block with a damage value of 0. We're going to replace it with place an air block with a damage value of 0. So we're going to place it with a 0 instead of a 1. We're going to push filter. And we're going to save that. And there we go. Now, we're going to hop back into our world. And we're going to test it out. We're going to push this button. Well, first let's clear it. So let's push this button. Oh, by the way, those commands also summon lava to destroy the minecart command blocks. Now, you see, the C worked. Now, we'll try this one. C works. And so forth, and it'll all work. Then what I would do is I would go into here, and I would copy and paste the command into this document right here for safekeeping. Alright, hopefully you're still following along. Now, I've got all of those commands stored. Alright. Next step is, I would do that for 2 other letters. So now I've got, imagine I have the commands for 3 letters, all stored in that document. Now I used to have 3 command blocks right here in specific places. What I would do is, for slot 1, I would copy and paste the command for the first letter for slot 1 in here. Then I'm going to copy and paste the command for the first slot for the second letter in here. Then the first slot for the third letter. Then, I'm going to hop into MC Edit. I'm not going to do this right now, though. And I would run that filter that we ran over there again, so that it's actually going to have another command block that summons these 3 command blocks. I know this is really difficult to understand. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to make it clearer. And these 3 are going to summon. Now, this is the important part. I go to that conversion document I showed you earlier, and let's say I use the letters GHI. Those are the 3 letters I placed down. These are the coordinates of that first command block, which is this one right here. And these are the coordinates of the command block that tests for the letter I in the word processor. And this same thing for H and G, and so forth. So that way I can do a find and replace command to make sure that instead of summoning these 3 blocks right here, I actually summon them in the proper place. Now that spits out an incredibly long command. This is space A, B, and C. This incredibly long command, which is summon minecart command blocks, writing minecart command blocks, writing minecart command blocks, which set the blocks for other minecart command blocks to summon minecart command blocks and set blocks and so forth. It's really a tongue twister. All of this stuff gets put together in order to summon those 3, which summon other ones. Alright. Then I copy and paste that one into its appropriate slot in the activator rail. I mean, the activator slot. So the space ABC1 would be right here, which is what gets activated when you move to the first slot. Alright. That was pretty complicated. I'm not going to go into the details of the other features, such as how it goes back to the beginning, because I feel that's pretty self-explanatory. By the way, the way that I have the words changed from on to off is actually I have different textures for on and off, and I just do a set block, in case you didn't figure that out. Alright, so, this is my first time really explaining anything about Redstone on a video. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to make it clearer. This is my first try. I actually didn't rehearse, and I really hope you could understand. And I'll be back soon with another video on data analysis in Minecraft. Ooh. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.